was a sneak peek of Ohiopyle, Pennsylvania, a small mountain town, hiking town that we visited on the way to Hershey, Pennsylvania. And you can check out our first family vlogging experience. I'll tag that in one of the corners here for you to watch. But anytime we go on a road trip and it's 5 hours or longer, we try to break it down so we're not stuck in the vehicle all day. And Ohiopyle seemed to fit just perfectly for us because we like the hike, we like sightseeing and being out in nature, waterfalls, natural water slides, which is also at Ohiopyle.
Yes, so I'm sure you're wondering how we found Ohiopyle. So being from northern Kentucky, all the people that we had talked to had never even heard about it. And we had a friend that lives in Pennsylvania. She lives in the Pittsburgh area. So I reached out to her and just said, hey, we're heading to Hershey Park, leaving from Kentucky, going there, any places in between that, we could stay, hike, like, what's your opinion of where you think would go? And she sent me a link for the Laurel Highlands, which the Laurel Highlands are huge. So I just started looking through that site, and that's when I found Cucumber Falls. That's the one that sticks out to me the most, but there were other things within that along the river that I was like, wow, I think that this would be really cool. So that's how we found Ohiopyle.
So if your family enjoys the great outdoors, sightseeing, waterfalls, kayaking, we didn't do kayaking or whitewater rafting, but this town certainly is known for that. But experiences like that, then Ohiopyle is definitely a place that you must visit if you're in that area, and it is definitely a place that you can see and do all the most popular things in one day.
We decided to focus on one particular trail, the Great Gorge Trail, that's part of the Great Allegheny Passage. We chose this trail because we wanted to see Cucumber Falls and the Meadow Run Natural Slides. For the record, you don't have to hike much to see either of those sites, but we wanted to, and we had the time to. The Great Gorge Trail is approximately 2.8 miles long and considered moderate to do. That's according to the All Trails app. Most who hike are familiar with this app, but if you're not, download it, find the trail you'd like to hike, and this is for anywhere in the country, and download the map for that trail. That way when you go, you can trace your steps and ensure you're on the right trail, whether you have service or not. FYI, this did come in handy a couple of times during this hike.
Before the hike, we unpacked at our short-term rental. We walked right next door to quite possibly the best food spot in Ohiopyle, Falls City Pub and Restaurant. To be fair, there are only a handful of options when it comes to eating out, and most are closed during the early part of the week, including this restaurant, so be sure to check ahead. We ordered a variety for lunch: wings, burgers, and fries, and brisket. It was all delicious. In fact, the waiter told us anything smoked was a good option. After we ate lunch, we walked into town, only a quarter mile away. Right up the hill from here was another good restaurant. It was called the Twisted Spoke Cafe.
Our hike officially started about right here at the historic train station Low Ohiopyle Bridge. This is among the first indications that you are in the right spot, a good spot for kayaking and whitewater rafting at the Youghiogheny River, or as the locals call it, the Yough. After you cross this bridge, you'll come to one of the splits or variations to this hiking area. Again, we wanted to see Cucumber Falls, so we stayed on the Great Gorge Trail. The next site was the High Ohiopyle Bridge. As cool as this was from the bridge, I really enjoyed it from a couple of hundred feet high.
From this bridge, you'll hike through the woods on a well-traveled trail. Approximately 1 mile later, you'll run into Cucumber Falls. For those who don't want to hike to the falls, there is a parking lot located less than a quarter mile from the falls.
Saying goodbye to the falls and check out the natural slides up around the corner away.
You'll head up to the left from this spot to eventually get to the Youghiogheny River, which you will hike alongside until you get to the overpass that leads into downtown Ohiopyle.
This is the end of Meadow Run Natural Slides, and as you can see, and will continue to see, it was way too dangerous for body sliding on this particular day. After you get off of Cucumber Falls, come up this hill, big loop, you go this way to stay on the Allegheny River Passage Loop. That lot over there is for Meadow Run Natural Waterslides. Way too rough for the slides today. The final site for our hike was the Ohiopyle Falls, located just outside of the downtown area. All right, so we just completed the Great Allegheny Passage, or the
Gap Trail.
Or the Gap Trail, which I just learned when I was trying to remember what it was called. So it was approximately 3 miles, but we started the loop right up the corner. So we started a little early because our short-term rental, or Airbnb, is right around the corner there. And this is actually where we started everything. The welcome to Ohiopyle sign behind us. Our little comedian here. What was your favorite part of the trail?
Seeing the waterfall.
Seeing the waterfalls. Do you remember what the names of the waterfalls were? Do you remember?
Cucumber.
Cucumber Falls was one of them. What city are we in?
Pennsylvania.
We're in Pennsylvania.
Ohiopyle.
Ohiopyle Falls was the last one we just saw. So again, it took us about 3 hours. We did a lot of stops along the way. Meadow Run. You want to tell them about the natural slides? So they were there.
Yeah,
You saw the footage.
it was just very crazy. We would have done it, but I guess the current was too high, and
Too strong.
we would have been dead.
So we ran into another hiker who whitewater rafted yesterday, and she said kayakers are actually in it right now because the river is so high. It's a little too rough for people to be going down. So
Yeah.
So that was a different loop that we could have started, but it was, again, way too dangerous to get on. We were prepared to do so. We had our towel right here. We had our swim trunks and bathing suits on underneath, but just wasn't meant to be today. Any other thoughts about today's trail? It was smooth and wide to start.
and then the other half after going into Cucumber Falls and around a meadow, it was really rocky and not as family friendly, I wouldn't say. So
It was very
definitely
narrow.
have your boots, not new gym shoes on like me.
The elevation was a little more significant on the other side, again with the rocks, but it was a lot cooler because we actually walked along the river.
Yeah, I mean, it felt amazing. It's about 65, 70 degrees right now, and it was perfect for hiking. Very serene and a great place to meditate, but we're here on Memorial Day weekend, so it's pretty busy.
Very busy.
Very.
Very busy. It's a little cooler than I think a typical spring day probably could have been, or usually is, but it is busy out here today. Busy, but easy still to get around. That's probably the most popular trail, that loop.
Right.
Probably the most popular one, but it didn't seem that busy.
I mean,
how
we
big
weren't-
it was.
We weren't walking with people the entire time, plus we had little legs, so we were walking a little bit slower.
She did great.
Most people.
We'd have to hold her hand as we're going up and down those rough spots, but so if you have a 5-6-year-old capable of doing it, you did it, right? You did it. This one did it easily. So overall, a great, easy day trip if you're in this area. Definitely visit this town to do that trip. There's the Meadow Run was another loop you could do, but we're only popping in here for one day, and then we're heading on to our next stop. But for now, it's time for dessert.
The Falls Market had a little bit of everything to offer: food, snacks, souvenirs, and so on. We decided to focus on ice cream. Cotton candy for Kenzie, cookies and cream milkshake for Maddie, a cookie dough cone for me, and Kyle just eats off of everyone's.
Could be thicker. How's yours, Kens? How does cotton candy, where does it rank at? Is it better than Graders?
Yes.
Maddie says it's better than Graders. Do you think it's better than Graders?
Well, it's like graders.
It's like graders,
But it's even better.
but it's better.
Yes.
It's more crunchier.
More crunchier than graders.
It sprinkles in like little spritz of graham cracker in it. It's really good.
Really good.
Cookie dough.
I would come
Mediocre.
here.
Cookies and cream. It's good.
Better than Schneider's? Not better than Schneider's. Didn't think so.
Schneider's is thicker, even though you get a big one here.
Shout out Bellevue, Kentucky.
So we did try to do one last thing before leaving Ohiopyle, but the park, to enter what is known as Falling Water, it's a piece of architecture, it's a home that Frank Lloyd Wright created. He's a world famous architect. He created that, and also Kentuck Knob, which is located in Ohiopyle. Two impressive pieces of architecture that you could visit, but they were closed, so we didn't get to see it. We weren't going to hang around because we were in a hurry to get to Hershey Park and experience all that had to offer. So there are other things you can do coming into and leaving town. So that's where our trip and our experience in Ohiopyle ended with just seeing the front of the park to enter Falling Water.
Speaking of other mountain towns, we are actually heading to one that we were a little bit more familiar with, being in the state of Kentucky. We are heading to Red River Gorge.
Full transparency, we do manage cabins down here, so if you're ever in the area, little plug there, look us up, Rentals in the Red. Much bigger mountain town. There's plenty of hiking you can do. There's kayaking you can do. The gorge underground, it's kayaking underground in caverns. Zip lining, which you can do. The next video will showcase some of what I just talked about there, because again, we've come down here plenty of times over the past few years, and we're just going to give you the best things you can do in maybe a couple of days. So we're going to come down here for just one night. We've got a little bit of work to do, but we also have some fun planned. But she always gets on me, we tend to work a little more than play, but this time we do have some play lined up, including a hike today and something different tomorrow, but you'll have to look out for that video about what we'll do in our time here for the 2 days.
Yes, so be on the lookout for that video and any other adventure that our family plans on going on. So make sure you like, subscribe, just to get those notifications on where we might be going next.
Thanks for watching.